Africa, and we get to visit the tribes.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I'm ready to rock and roll. You guys ready? Okay,
Yes, sir.
cool. Gotcha. Here we go. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to our Super Bowl Radio Row coverage from San Francisco. I'm Pat Strathman. Have a couple of exciting guests for today. Robert Galery, NFL legend, College Football Hall of Famer, number 2 overall pick in the 2004 NFL Draft for the Raiders. Joining him is B.J. Ganem, U.S. Marine Corps, veterans' rights advocate, combat veteran who served during Operation Iraqi Freedom. Guys, glad to have you here. I feel like I talk to you every year now, which is great. Yeah. So it's always good to see you, BJ, first and foremost. How are you doing, sir?
Doing great. Really excited that this game's coming back. It's been on the shelf for about 4 years since COVID, but thanks to Disabled American Veterans, DAV.org, we're able to bring it back along with Athletes for Care and Robert Gallery.
Mr. Gallery, how are you doing?
Doing great. Yeah, great for this partnership. Special thanks to DAV for what they're doing to help us get this going, and melting the two together to bring awareness for mental health for athletes and for veterans and all the things that both organizations can do.
What's it like looking at this Super Bowl not featuring the Kansas City Chiefs?
That's great. I love change, right? I like to see teams have success and a couple of teams that have done some amazing things this year, so I'm excited for the game.
Yeah, well, I mean, with you being a Raider, that's why I figured I'd throw that out there. Although kind of unique for you with it being the Seahawks and the Patriots, you do got a little bit of ties with both those organizations, so I don't know if you really can root for one or the other going into this game coming up on Sunday.
Yeah, no, I was, played a year in Seattle and then obviously finished in camp at New England before I retired, but both great teams. I just like to see the success that those coaching staffs have brought into the organizations, and should be a great game.
Yeah, well, I hope it's going to be a good game because I think a lot of people are looking at this thinking that the NFC was so good this year that New England has no shot.
Yeah.
How do you view it? Robert first, and then we'll get the BJ.
No, I think it's the last game of the year with a lot on the line, right? So I don't think anything that's happened throughout the year matters. Obviously, both teams got to do what they've done to get to this point, but I don't think there's the stakes are pretty high, and it's whoever comes out and is most makes the least amount of mistakes and can get this thing won.
BJ,
I think I'm thinking New England. I think that they're going to win. I think they're trying to prove that they can still win without Brady, even if Belichick can't, and and just I think they got a lot to prove, and it's talk about change. It wasn't that long ago that New England was in every Super Bowl, right? But it's pretty cool to see them back. I think both stories are great. I think it's the two best teams in the NFL made it, and I'm excited for a good game. And really, all the players on this team I really like. There's a lot of good stories there.
Yeah. Well, what about the quarterbacks? Just start there. You have Drake May, who tough job to be like, you're going to have to replace Tom Brady. So here you go. I'm sure he probably doesn't view it that way, but whoever's going to be the quarterback in New England is going to be held up to those standards. It's just the way it's going to be. And then you have Sam Darnold, who escapes from New York, and escapes maybe isn't the most polite way to say it, but in some ways it is, because it's not like the Jets have had terrific success at the quarterback spot. Ends up going to Minnesota. You see what he does there. Now he's with Seattle, and he is playing for a Super Bowl, which is just insane to me. Let's start with the quarterback spot. How unique is this quarterback battle with Drake May and Sam Darnold coming up on Sunday?
Well, I like to see what Sam's done, right? It goes to show the rest of the world it's not always the talent, right? It's the situation you're in. So they put him in a spot to win and be successful, and he's playing great football, right? He's not I don't think he's changed as a player all that much from those other stops he had, but this situation that he's in there plays to his strengths, and it's a very cool story to see. Right, good for him. He's playing very good football. It's not like he's just the quarterback for the Seahawks. He's playing very good football. Mm-hmm. And for Drake, a young guy comes in, has a lot on his shoulders. Seems to be handling it well. Don't know him, but just from the outside, like everybody else. It's a cool storyline with the quarterback. Two non-flashy guys, right? They're all about their team, and there's a reason teams like that make it to the Super Bowl.
I think it ties right into what the DAV Bowl is all about that we're playing on Saturday at Cappuccino High. Resiliency, right? And I think that, this is something as entertaining as football is and as fun as it is to watch. Like, if people actually take the time to look at what these men do, as kids, to learn this sport and then to get to this level, I think there's good lessons to learn from. I mean, I know I draw a lot of inspiration. I've been lucky enough to get to know a lot of these players like Robert and everybody. And just hearing their stories of what they went through resonates with me as a Marine
Yeah.
infantryman of like all the times that we had to what we called embrace the suck, right? And push through. And that works when you're mission specific, right? You're trying to win the Super Bowl or you're on a mission in the military operations. But then after life, that's when it becomes difficult. But that's where it's great that we have great communities like DAV, Athletes for Care, and we're all just trying to figure out like, all right, that happened. Now, how can we use that and turn the page and start that next chapter?
Well, you two are all about leadership. What about the job that Mike Vrabel's been able to do in this first year? Like coming in and immediately changing. I had a chance to visit with Jeremiah Farms, who is a guy who actually played at the NAIA level for a small school in Wichita, Kansas, right?
Yeah.
And I just asked him about Vrabel, and the guy gushed on what Mike Vrabel's been able to do. Leadership is important. If you have the right leaders in place, just goes to show you that you can have success wherever with that guy leading the charge. How about the job that Vrabel's been able to do as a leader?
I love him. I've never got a chance to meet him, but the teams that he played on in the Patriots, like just exemplified leadership and discipline and all that. And he's really brought that to the table. Everybody I've ever met that's met the man or been around him has, like you said, gushed over him. I think it's a tremendous show of leadership, and I think that New England's lucky to have him.
Yeah, I think it's no surprise to me that he's having success as a coach because of the type of player he was, how he carried himself. He's very authentic, at least from the outside, looking in, and I think guys buy into that, right? When you have a head coach that's been there, done that, it's a little easier, speaking from experience, to listen to a coach that tells you something that's been through it. So, no surprise to me that he's done that, and when you can win over a locker room, right, whether you're the most talented team in the NFL or not, player by player, right, you win over a locker room and those players trust in you, there's no doubt he's got those guys playing at the highest level they can.
All right. Well, you are Mr. Raiders, so what do you make of the latest decision for the Raiders in terms of choosing their leader moving forward?
That's it would be interesting to see, right? Like I think obviously they've done their homework, and obviously his resume is good. If it ends up being who everybody's talking about, so we just like every team, right? They're trying to get the right culture in there, get the right person in there, and we need that there in Raider Nation.
Yeah, well, that's a good way to look at it for sure. Like I thought Pete Carroll for coming in, I thought maybe it would change some things, but of course, sometimes it always looks good on paper, and sometimes it just doesn't add up. Now we'll see what happens moving forward there with the Raiders. Got to ask about the Chiefs in some fashion, with you being a lineman, Robert, with Eric Bieniemy returning as the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. I think there are a lot of Chiefs fans who are freaking out because the sky's falling. They weren't in the Super Bowl this year. So everyone's thinking worst case scenario, DEFCON 5, you name it. They think it's a huge offseason for them to improve. But Eric Bieniemy coming in, that leadership aspect that we talked about, everyone hopeful that maybe there'll be some more accountability. But they also think that Eric Bieniemy coming in can help out with the run blocking scheme. In your regard, as a former offensive lineman in that position, how much can an offensive coordinator do to help out with the running scheme, trying to improve on something like that for the Kansas City Chiefs as they try to get better with Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I think it all comes down to the scheme and the scheme he's going to bring in, right? You can't have a bunch of guys, if you're going to run a zone blocking scheme, you can't have a bunch of 400-pound guys that can't move, right? So he's going to come in and put those guys in the right situation to play to their strengths, right? It's not always necessarily his exact scheme, but he will, I'm guessing, change it so it helps all those guys up front be the best they can be, and that's what good coaches do. There's a lot of good coaches in the league, and that's what they're trying to do by bringing him back in.
What about the Chiefs' offensive line in general? Have much time to really kind of look at what they did? I know they have Trey Smith at right guard, Creed Humphrey locked up there at center, left tackle Josh Simmons, a rookie, an up and down season, being banged up, right tackle. Some people thinking changes on the way. What do you make of the Chiefs' offensive line moving forward? Is it good enough for them to go out there and get back to the Super Bowl moving forward?
We'll see. We'll see next year, right? Every year's a new year, right? You got to keep guys healthy, play well as a team. And so that's the great thing about the league. It starts over every year. And, I know they're doing like every other team, they're doing everything they can to get back to where they want to be.
BJ, did we ever talk about your squad?
You know, I love the Packers. This year kind of ended on a sour note, but I'm hopeful for the future. You know, my relationship with football has changed. I've moved around so much, you know, being in the military, that I just like a good game. I like the good stories, you know, and that's what I like about the teams that are in the Super Bowl right now. I think there's a lot of good stories, and just seeing good game. I want to see people that are working together, have an established goal, and just leave everything on the field.
Yeah.
You know, and just play a good game. And that's what it is. We get to lose ourselves for about 3 hours watching these guys battle. And win, lose, or draw. I mean, I think the NFL has got a lot of good young kids. And I know the game's changing. For a while, it took me a little bit to get used to that new kickoff, but I'm used to it. And I know, like, it's for their health. Like, again, being able to see the flip side of the coin, we can see why we're trying to invest so much effort into keeping the game entertaining and fun and hard, but also making sure that we're not just hurting these guys for our own entertainment.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a good way to look at it for sure. Going into this game on Sunday, who you rooting for? Who you going for? Who you got? Who you got?
Yeah, you know, I was lucky to meet a lot of the Boston Marathon survivors soon after the bombings went off. So I've become really close to people in Boston. And so, again, I like the story of New England coming back and Vrabel. So I'm going with the Patriots.
Yeah, I think, you know, because my time spent, you know, that year I spent in Seattle, you know, I like the story of that team, and so I'm gonna have to go Seattle.
There we go.
BJ.
There we go.
Okay, there we go.
Right.
So we're gonna split it. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that. How long has this been a thing now? This partnership for you guys? I feel like it's been going on for. Again, I'm so used to talking to you on a regular basis. I lose track of just how long this has been going on. Obviously, it's growing every single year, which is great.
Yeah, BJ's done a good job over the years, and you know, I was fortunate to meet him earlier this year, and so you know, my organization, Athletes for Care, partnered with him and DAV to help bring this game back from the short stop it had. So just a great relationship, bringing awareness to, you know, not only veterans but athletes and the things they go through, you know, after the game or after their service, right, and making it okay and bringing awareness to the general public that, you know, well, look what these guys are doing, right? Look at the effect they're having on their communities and for guys like myself and my community, it's you know, it's okay to talk about your the issues you had, and you know, mine from, you know, traumatic brain injury and all the stuff leading from my playing career, and not blaming anybody about it, but I found healing through psychedelic assisted therapy. A lot of veterans are also, and so just you know, bringing awareness to all those things.
Yeah, you know, Robert and I just met you know 6-7 months ago. 6-7. My kids are gonna love I said that.
Gotta do the motion. Gotta do the motion.
But we became fast friends. I think we're really aligned. Our core values are very similar, and so it's just a natural partnership. It's been really fun getting to know them, and that's the thing that I've learned over a decade of being blessed enough to meet these guys is, you know, how much we can learn from each other, and then the fun that we can have. And that's what I'm excited for everybody to see on Saturday at the DAV Bowl in Cappuccino High. Like, what better name for a high school in San Francisco than Cappuccino High, right?
Wait, hold on. You said you're cutting out coffee. What are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. So, but it's going to be great. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I mean, again, just the true relationships that come from these two communities, and getting everybody else that wants to support us, that are grateful that these guys put on this game that we enjoy. Well, now it's almost every day. It's not just Sunday anymore.
Yeah.
And
for real.
And all the gratitude that we feel as veterans, you know, we just want everybody to feel that hope that, you know, there's a reason we live in this country and we have the opportunity to improve our communities. We just got to roll up our sleeves and do the work.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, gentlemen, BJ, Robert, thank you so much for your time. As always, enjoy the rest of the week.
Thank you, man. Appreciate
it.